Today, we're going into the most underrated fixed blade everyday carry, so be sure to stay until the end of the video, because I'm sure you'll learn something new. Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Jack Billing, CEO and founder of shedknives, and like I said today, we're going into the most underrated fixed blade that's an everyday carry, and that knife is right here. So this is the 2023 US Tanto in Midnight Black. This is a 100% USA made blade by shedknives. So this thing has been a huge seller. Alright, but it doesn't get the attention it deserves. So I thought, since so many people like it, right now it's, I believe, number 2 or number 3 on shedknives.com, but the attention, everyone's going for the other blades. So I thought, I gotta make a video on this thing, talk about some of the features, just because so many people don't know what it is. Alright, so first off, the general design. Let's talk about that for a second. So this is technically a reverse Tanto blade. It does have a little bit of a curve towards the point. You can see it's not just a completely straight edge, but I decided to call it a US Tanto. If you aren't familiar with why I called it a US Tanto, and still call it a US Tanto, it's because I kind of like the name. That's really it. I mean, same thing with the sheep's foot blade. That's really a Warncliffe, but I just like the name. But there's a little more to it, alright? It's not just because I like the name, it's because the American Tanto looks like this. You have your blade going like that. That is an American Tanto, so I thought if we flip it, it's now a reverse Tanto. But here's the thing, reverse Tanto, I don't really like the sound of that. US Tanto, because US means United States, because this is a 100% USA made blade, I thought, perfect. Let's do that. So that's a little bit about this knife. It does come up a little bit, which helps you use a little bit like of a belly, for example. So you get some advantages of a straight blade and you get a little curvature in there. So that's nice. And overall, this knife is pretty simple of a design. Everything's pretty straight on here. There's not a ton of curves, a little bit on the end there and a little bit in here, but other than that, it's a pretty simple knife, which is really great for an everyday carry, because that means you don't have to worry about crazy like karambit style knives that you don't know how to open, and next thing you know, it's just a pain to use. The US Tanto, all you gotta do is pull this thing out of the sheath, boom, you're ready to cut, because it is a fixed blade knife. Now let's talk about the uses. Okay, once you unsheath this blade, what are you gonna do with it? Well, it's pretty simple. You can open boxes, you can cut line, you can cut rope, you can cut whatever, you can slice game, you can cut up bait. The uses are pretty much endless. Okay, you can do a ton of stuff with this, and most people, including myself, show off the 2023 collection like this, and then like that. Rarely do we ever show how thick these knives are. Okay, these are very thick. Let's take a look at that. The metal is almost a 1/4 inch thick. And then we have 1/4 inch thick, almost 1/4 inch thick G10 on each side. So this thing is a very thick piece. Now that doesn't mean it is super dull, because let me use my notes here and let me see. Let's slice. That's pretty sharp, and this is straight from the shedknife shop, by the way. So when you get this knife, just know it's coming that sharp, if not sharper, because I'm always improving. Always constant improvement on my sharpness, on my G10, on my grinds, on my sheaths, everything I do, even these videos. Every time I do one, I get better at it. Just like with anything, okay? It's like driving a car. The more you do it, the more you get better. So that pretty much sums up the uses here. Basically, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can chop wood, you can stab things, you can open things up. This is an all-purpose knife. Now let's talk about the materials. So how do we know that this is a very strong blade? Because yes, we can have a very sharp blade, but that doesn't mean it's strong. Well, this knife is 154 cm steel. We have G10 scales, Kydex sheath, okay? And something special about this steel, it is heat treated to a 58 to 60 Rockwell. So it's pretty tough, all right? It is pretty hard steel. I get this heat treated, and to guarantee it is heat treated, I throw in a heat treat certificate with every single knife that is heat treated, which all the Shedknives models are now heat treated. So look out for the blue slip, because when I first get my knives into the shop, they're actually blue. So that's why I decided to do the paper blue, because it matches the heat treat when it first comes to me. So pretty cool there. This is a tough blade. Also, even if it wasn't heat treated, even if it was a cheaper quality steel, look how thick that thing is. So when you have a tough blade and then it's thick and then it's also sharp, you can do so much with these blades. All right, now why everyday carry this blade? Well, it comes down to a few simple things. All right, number one, easy to carry. Number two, simple design. Like I said, pretty simple design. It doesn't weigh a lot. Now, yes, this blade is a little bit thicker than your average everyday carry, but I notice as I carry my knives around, like this 2023 sheep's foot, I get used to it. So if you can carry a sheep's foot or an Atlas or whatever, anything larger than that, you'll get used to it. You'll definitely get used to the US Tanto. Also, the last thing with this blade, you can throw just about anything at this knife and it'll handle it. Okay, so once again, a very tough knife. And last but not least, folks, where do you even pick this knife up? If you like this knife, where do you get it? Well, you can go to shedknives.com. I'll put it up on the screen. You can check that out, or you can go to the direct link in the description, and it will bring you precisely to the 2023 US Tanto on shedknives.com. So right now, these blades, the US Tanto, they're out of stock, but don't worry. If you order now, that means you are farther ahead of everybody else when they order, when this knife is back in stock. There's something Shedknives has called the restock rush. It's because these knives are in so much demand that when they come back in stock, everyone buys them out. But if you have a pending order while any of the blades are out of stock, that means you have a higher priority since you ordered sooner than they did. So become the higher priority today. Get your 2023 US Tanto. Also, there's a bunch of other knives on there, so I'd highly encourage you and appreciate it if you check them out. This brings me to the end of the video. If you like this video, if you found value in it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you support 100% USA knife companies like Shedknives, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And last but not least, my friends, if you know an outdoor or knife enthusiast who enjoys knife content, just like this video, and might be able to benefit from it, go ahead and send the link to this video to them. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.